Today's postcard is a boat trip around the harbour of one of Britain's greatest naval cities. The postmark today is Portsmouth Harbour in the county of Hampshire. The origins of the city's dockyard as we see it today hark back to 1194, when King Richard I, the Lionheart, ordered a dock to be built in Portsmouth Harbour, and 18 years later, King John ordered the Sheriff of Southampton to enclose the dockyard at Portsmouth with a good and strong wall to protect it. Today it occupies nearly 300 acres, and, coincidentally, there have been nearly 300 vessels constructed here since the first named ship was launched in 1497. The most famous historic ships, such as the classic Mary Rose, Nelson's flagship, the HMS Victory, and the ironclad HMS Warrior, are all still in the harbour and open to the public, each with their own astounding stories to tell. Portsmouth also plays host to a number of NATO and other foreign warships, completing the varied and historic picture here in the harbour. Let's have a chat with John Gibbs, a tourism officer from Portsmouth. He's going to tell us more about the harbour. John, we're on the harbour trip to Portsmouth. Tell us a little bit about Old Portsmouth.
Old Portsmouth, oh, it's had quite a colourful history, Old Portsmouth. Today it's a residential area, quite a select area. But in times gone by, it was the old lawless area. It was full of brothels and hostelries, and the press gangs used to operate down there. So quite a colourful past.
Tell us, what did the press gangs actually do?
Well, the Navy were always short of sailors, so there was an act passed that meant that the sailors could go out and go into the hostelries and basically cosh people over their heads and then cart them off to sea. They were supposed to only get sailors, but they weren't too particular, so if you're a landman or just an ordinary person, you know, could well be sent out to sea for 5 years in one of Her Majesty's ships.
So you could wake up and suddenly find yourself in a situation on board one of these vessels here.
Yeah, they're predecessors for sure, yeah.
Oh, that's not so much fun, is it? But Portsmouth goes back a very long time, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the earliest settlement was Portchester Castle, which goes back to Roman times, up at the north of the harbour. And then as the town expanded, the main settlement started in the south of Portsea Island in Old Portsmouth. And that's where the defences were put up. They used to have some walls there called the hot walls, and the idea was they had furnaces on top of them, and if Portsmouth was being attacked, they would fire down hot cannonballs onto the wooden ships below. And so in Henry VIII's time it really grew, the navy grew and the town grew in parallel to it.
So basically it was the Romans and Henry VIII?
Basically, yeah, they were the two most important people.
What about Pompey? Where does the name Pompey come from?
It comes from, there's various different stories, but the one that I was told, it was some sailors went to Egypt and there was a big pillar there, and they climbed it, and it sounded, the Egyptian name sounded a bit like Pompey, and because the sailors had come from Portsmouth, that's where it came from.
Oh, always wondered that one, up the Pompey for the football club. Well, it's time to swap my sea legs for a pair of terra firma boots. Bye.